Mena tunapi ningipi nungapi takura miladina nika. Mena tunapi ningi pakana manamapali. I wish to acknowledge my own people who once walked this land and acknowledge my elders in the Tasmanian Aboriginal community of today.
I grew up doing lots of bushwalking.
I grew up on the northwest coast of Tassie, discovering the rock pools and all the life in them, and then went on to do marine biology.
It's like a mini Australia, just not with the desert.
You'd be daft if you got bored.
Obviously you've got to work out in any sort of weather conditions, but that doesn't worry me.
Working in the most remote, isolated and rugged places in Tassie, and that becomes our office on a daily basis.
It's just stunning. World-class, beautiful national parks, and I feel very privileged to be able to work in them.
Well, it was created back in 1971 from what was two separate organisations, the Scenery Preservation Board and the Animals and Birds Protection Board. So there was a new professional, modern Parks and Wildlife Service based loosely on what had happened on the mainland.
Decision was made by the then government that they would amalgamate simply because we were running two systems of reserve lands in Tasmania, one under the Crown Lands Act, and the Parks and Wildlife Service had a system of reserves, and the two general managers used to fight over parcels of land as to see who got a hold of it, whether it was national parks or lands.
We were still using typewriters, and I remember when I was working at Freycinet and we got our first computer, which we just had one for the field centre. The ranger in charge at the time just threw the old typewriter, literally threw it out.
When I first started with parks just over 10 years ago, our social media pages had a very tiny following, and that's grown to over 75,000.
We moved from a point of working for the land and then working out that in fact we'd get a better result if we work with the people.
For the past 50 years, interpretation and education has been one of the most vital things for parks and wildlife, because it's the way that we get people to connect with nature.
I remember driving down the Tarkine on a rough four-wheel drive road and an eagle just landing in front of the vehicle and staring and looking at me face to face, and then it just took off and its wings just flew over the bonnet. And you know, that's just imprinted upon me for the rest of my life, and they're the sorts of things I think that inspire us to keep on coming day after day. And yeah, so I'd love to do a bit more conservation work.
It was helping other people to appreciate the diversity through understanding what's there, appreciating it and wanting to protect it and look after it, so conserving it for the future.
We really are custodians of the land. We're not owners or managers, and we're looking after it for all of the community and all of the public, but also for future generations as well. And that's our job, is to look after that so other people can enjoy it.
A really rewarding opportunity for me was I got to go to Strahan last year to assist with the large whale stranding. The team would approach the whale with a mat that sort of try and slide under the whale's belly, and then the aquaculture boat would go out through the heads to release the whale, and they would have a vet on board that boat and a marine specialist when the whales were released.
I'm just so proud of our staff, the way they just are committed to engaging with people, providing information, interacting with them, you know, their passion, their commitment and their love of place. It's just inspiring.
One particular year, our staff at Mount Field decided to get out there with little pots of paint and brushes, and we put out a post that said, "This is how the Vegas turning happens." It's our staff behind the scenes slowly painting away.
Well, I joined the Park Service in 1982. I was stationed on Maria Island in 1985, and I just spotted this wheelbarrow, and it was brand new when I started, and it looks like I feel.
Being a part of the fire management team, we get deployed for up to 14-day rotations, which can be quite isolating, but we're all big one happy family. Being able to go to New South Wales back in 2019 and repay the favour that they gave to us and allow those firefighters over there to go home and rest with their families and recuperate, and we could do the active firefighting for them, was something that's probably really special to me, and it's probably the best part of my career to date.
One of the challenges with climate change is the fire season is getting longer. One of the areas that's been interesting to discuss and still being developed in Tasmania is the traditional burning.
Temperature this morning was at 13.2, and our prescriptions, our optimal prescriptions for doing coastal heathland burning, 15 to 20.
Being Aboriginal has always been something I've been very proud of, and I guess being able to share that with visitors, especially from Tasmania, around Tasmania, when we're in our national parks, to be able to share that Aboriginal culture and explain to the visitors in our parks about the Aboriginal cultural landscapes, the Aboriginal values and the heritage throughout all our parks and World Heritage areas.
There's your limpet. Sticks to the rocks. Very, very powerful because of the tides coming in and out. And then what I do is get the kids to try and pull this off. So Kate, you can try and pull that off.
Oh my Good interview while you're going through.
It's in good hands. We've turned the corner. We're relevant to the people of Tasmania. We are a strong part of the economy, and people will stand up to fight for parks, as we've now found out.
It's exciting to look forward to the future and the next 50 years. Many happy returns.
So what does the future hold? Well, your guess is as good as mine. If the last 12 months have taught us anything, it's that we're agile, we're resilient, and we're able to take on any card that we might be dealt with. So thank you to all of the former and current staff of the PWS, to all of our volunteers, to all of our stakeholders and partners. Thank you for the last 50 years, and may the next 50 be even better.